Hey guys, this is Brennan's Baseball Blogs. I have my Francisco Lindor Mets jersey. In my opinion, the black Mets jerseys are honestly really cool in baseball. That's my honest opinion. And I'm glad I have Lindor's, DeGrom's, Verlander's. And I have Brendan Nimmo's jersey that's in my closet. But we're going to be talking about the Mets season this year in 2025. They started off with their 64th season of their franchise, their 17th at Citi Field, their 5th under majority owner Steve Cohen, and their 2nd under manager Carlos Mendoza. On July 19th, the Mets retired the number 5 worn by former Mets captain David Wright and inducted him into the Mets Hall of Fame during the pregame ceremony before the 5-2 loss to the Cincinnati Reds at Citi Field. Wright became the 10th player in franchise history to literally do this. To have his number retired, and second by Tom Seaver, and also to be inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame the same day. Also, although the Mets opened the season with a 45-24 record through June 12th, the best record in MLB at the time and the second most wins through their first 70 games in franchise history, behind only the 1986 Mets that won 49 of its first 70 games and went on to win the World Series that year, and attaining a 96.2% odds to make the postseason. The team collapsed down that stretch. And literally I couldn't believe it. And literally the Mets were honestly one of the best teams in baseball. They literally had one of the best seasons ever in baseball this year, being 45-24. I really thought they were going to make the postseason. But I also figured they were going to be the Mets and collapse. But literally I wasn't surprised, but the Mets really had a really great team. I think the injuries happened, and also their cockiness and ignorance probably literally screwed them out of being into the postseason. And they finished 38-55 the rest of the season and endured 3 separate losing streaks of 7 or more games. They became only the 3rd team in the wild card era to start 45-24 or better and still missed the postseason, joining the 2002 Boston Red Sox and 2003 Seattle Mariners. During the collapse, the teams also suffered their most lopsided series defeat in franchise history, and getting outscored 30-4 from June 27th to June 29th by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sorry, I have a little cold. I still can't believe that literally the Mets got outscored 30-4 through that 3-game set against the Pirates. I was watching that series, and I couldn't believe it. The Mets were the only team in 2025 to go winless when trailing after the 8th inning, going 0-70, which is insane to believe. In addition, the Mets went through a 60-game stretch where David Peterson was the only starter to last 6 innings, a dubious destination going back to 1901. On September 17th, Dom Hamill became the 46th pitcher used by the Mets in 2025, setting an MLB record for the most pitchers used by a single team in one season, surpassing the previous record held by the 2024 Miami Marlins. The record was later tied by the 2025 Atlanta Braves on September 28th. The Mets also blew 4+ run leads for 3 consecutive games for the first time in franchise history. I just could not believe any of this was happening to them. And they've dealt with so many injuries also. On a positive note, Juan Soto joined the 30-30 club on September 9th, also broke his career high for hitting his 42nd home run, not career, but 42nd home run of the season on September 19th, eventually hitting his 43rd home run of the season nearly a week later on September 24th. Francisco Lindor also joined the 30-30 club on September 23rd, marking the second time in Mets history that 2 teammates achieved this feature in the same season, following Howard Johnson and Darryl Strawberry had done so in 1987. In addition, Pete Alonso hit his 253rd career home run, breaking Darryl Strawberry's Mets franchise record of 252 home runs. The Mets finished the season 83-79, marking their second consecutive winning season, their first such stretch of since 2015 and 2016, when they made the World Series and then lost. They ended with the same record as the Reds, but lost the head-to-head tiebreaker as Cincinnati won the season series 4-2. However, with the Reds losing 4-2 to the Brewers in their final game, the Mets were eliminated from playoff contention for the 7th time in 9 years after a 4-0 loss to the Marlins September 28th. It marked the biggest collapse ever for a team and for the Mets to go 45. No, 45-24. That's what I meant. Literally the biggest collapse ever to go 45-24 and still not make the postseason. After they went through the offseason of getting so many pitchers and hitters and everything, where they got Kevin Harrogate off waivers, Luis de Los Santos off waivers, Jose Siri from the Rays for a pitcher, Frankie Montas on a 2-year, $34 million contract after he had big surgery, and then signing Clay Holmes to a 3-year, $38 million contract, then signing Juan Soto to a 15-year, $765 million contract, the largest contract in franchise and sports history. The deal included an opt-out after the 2029 season and no deferred money, and the Mets can void it by increasing his annual salary in the final 10 seasons by $4 million from $51 million to $55 million, making the total value up to $805 million. In addition, Soto will also get a $75 million signing bonus in the contract, which is mind-blowing. And he definitely deserved to get paid, but you should have taken the deal from the Yankees. And the Mets re-signed Sean Manaea to a 3-year, $75 million contract, and then acquired Austin Warren off waivers from the Giants, then re-signed Jesse Winker, AJ Minter. They also signed AJ Minter to a 2-year, $22 million contract, and re-signed Ryan Stanek, re-signed Pete Alonso to a 2-year, $54 million contract with an opt-out after this year, and then re-signed Drew Smith and acquired Alexander Canario. And then during the regular season, they signed Brooks Raley, traded Jose Castillo from the Diamondbacks, Justin Garza, Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, and Cedric Mullins. And they finished in second place with 13 games out of first place, 49 wins and 32 losses at home, 34 wins and 47 losses on the road, 83-79. And literally the Mets still had basically an okay, good season, but they still had the biggest collapse ever. And literally Juan Soto had a really great year. Brandon Nimmo had a great year also for the Mets this year. Brandon Nimmo literally had over 25 home runs this year. And Juan Soto had 41 home runs this year, 100 runs scored, 100 RBIs, and a 285 average, and also over 174 hits, and also this had a over 1,100 OPS plus. Pete Alonso had 37 home runs this year, and over 99 RBIs and a 262 average. No, 289 average this year, and over 184 hits. And Francisco Lindor had a really great season also. He really had an amazing season this year. And he finished the year with 160 games played for the Mets, batting .267, .346, .466, with 31 home runs, 31 stolen bases, 117 runs scored, and 86 RBIs. Lindor had a really great season. And he and Soto became the third set of teammates, joining Howard Johnson, Darryl Strawberry, Dante Bichette, and Ellis Burks from 1996 Rockies, and Johnson and Strawberry with the Mets in 1987. I want to say the Mets had a good season, but it was still the biggest collapse. I still couldn't believe it. And it was Lindor's first 30 home run season since 2023. And he became the fifth player to join the 30-30 club this year. And I want to say congrats to the Mets on a good season, but still, you should have made the postseason. And I think their cockiness and arrogance probably did cost them a chance to make the postseason. And my friend Randy will give his thoughts on the Mets and their season and everything, and what he thinks of their black jerseys, and about just like what he thinks about their season this year. And I want to say, drop down in the comments and what you guys think of what I said and what you guys think I should talk about. And I want to say thank you guys for everything, your love and your support. And let's go Mets. Let's hope you have a better season next year. And let's see a Yankees-Mets World Series, because I want to see that happen. Because the last time that ever happened was when my mom and dad got married in 2000.